This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Good evening. I'm Robert Floyd, your town moderator. Welcome to the town moderator special town meeting information session for our upcoming special town meeting on December 5th, next Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the William E. Norris School on Pomeroy Meadow Road. And we hope to see you there. But tonight what I'm going to do is read all the articles, not the motions. There's going to be no debate. We can save that for the town meeting, but I'll read the articles. So we have 20, and we're going to start off with Article 1, Budget and Financial Items, Unpaid Bills. This evening, the town will vote to transfer funds for 6 previous fiscal year bills totaling $11,918.78 to the prior year bills accounts for unpaid bills from previous fiscal years. $40 from Western Mass Fire Prevention Association. This is a fiscal 23 invoice received late. $32.99 Amazon fiscal 23 invoice not paid. $6,895 fiscal 23 school transportation fees fiscal 23 invoice not paid. $4,709 Westfield Technical Academy student tuition, fiscal 23, invoice not paid. $27.96 Rockies Ace Hardware, fiscal 23, invoice not paid. And the last one, $213.83 McKesson, fiscal 23, invoice not paid. Said sum to be taken from the fiscal 24 fire expense account for Western Mass Fire Prevention Association, $40. Amazon, $32.99. This is just kind of repetitive, so I'm not going to go on and read that. Article 2, transfers for police department operating expenses. This evening, the town will vote to transfer an amount of $119,766.50 from the communication wage account to the police and fire operating budget accounts as listed below. 4 columns: amount, from, to, and reason. $60,000 communication wage account, police wages account, unexpected impact bargaining. $27,000 communication wages account to police overtime account, reason unexpected impact bargaining and staff shortages. $7,000 from communication wages account to the education incentive account for unexpected impact bargaining, $14,782.50 from the communication wages account to the police chief salary account for unexpected impact bargaining. $5,492 from the communication wages account to police administrative assistant account, unexpected impact bargaining, and $5,492 from communication wages account to the fire administration assistant account, unexpected impact bargaining. Said sums to come from the fiscal 2024 accounts listed above. Article 3, transfer appropriate for fire EMS operating expenses. See if the town will vote to transfer appropriate an amount totaling $20,000, $9,000 appropriated from ambulance receipts reserved for appropriation, and transfer $2,000 from EMT standby and $9,000 from fire department wages to the fire truck maintenance account for the fiscal 24 operating accounts as listed below. And that's repetitive of what I just shared. Said sums to come from the fiscal 2024 ambulance fees reserved for appropriation and the fiscal 2024 operating accounts listed above. Article 4, transfer for assessors department operating expenses. To see if the town will vote to transfer an amount totaling $36,000 within the assessors department operating budget amounts as listed below. amount $36,000 from assessors consultants to principal assessor's salary account. Reason, temporary principal assessor salary. Said sum to come from the fiscal 2024 account listed above. Article 5, transfer for Highway Department operating expenses. To see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $21,227.86 from general highway wage line to general highway department operating budgets lines as listed below. The amount $24,000 from general highway wages to general highway expenses, reason culvert assessment, and $7,227.86 from general highway wages to the administrative assistant highway, and the reason is wage correction. Said sums to come from the fiscal 24 accounts listed above. Article 6, transfer for treasurer, intergovernmental department operating expenses. To see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $6,000 from group health insurance account line to unemployment operating budget line in the treasurer, intergovernmental department fiscal 2024 operating budget. Said sum to come from the fiscal 2024 account as listed above. Article 7, transfer for health department for operating expenses. To see if the town will vote to transfer an amount totaling $19,195, $6,195 from the health agent wage account, and $13,000 from the group health insurance account to the Board of Health contracted expense budget account as listed below, and it breaks it out to what I just shared. Said sums to come from the fiscal 2024 account listed above. Article 8, transfer from free cash to operational stabilization to replenish it for use for Hampshire regional assessment. To see if the town will vote to transfer appropriate an amount totaling $350,387 to the Operational Stabilization Fund account to replenish what was used in the fiscal 2024 budget process for the Hampshire Regional School Assessment account from free cash. Article 9, transfer from free cash to the Capital Stabilization Fund. To see if the town will vote to transfer appropriate $96,564 to the Capital Stabilization Fund. Said sum to be taken from free cash. Article 10, transfer from free cash to the Operating Stabilization Fund. To see if the town will vote to transfer appropriate $82,769 to the Operating Stabilization Fund. Said sum to be taken from free cash. Article 11, transfer from free cash to the OPEB Fund. To see if the town will vote to transfer appropriate $27,590 to the other post-employment benefits OPEB account, said sum to be taken from free cash. Article 12, vote to establish an opioid stabilization account. To see if the town will vote pursuant to provisions of General Laws, Chapter 40, Subchapter 58, to create a new special purpose stabilization fund to be known as the Opioid Settlement Stabilization Fund, which may be expended for all of the purposes allowed by law, including those outlined in applicable opioid litigation settlement documents, a document prepared by the Substance Abuse Bureau of the Commonwealth's Office of Health and Human Services Department, found at, and there's a website address, massgov/docs/Massachusetts-abatement-terms/download, entitled Abatement Strategies, and consistent with any state guidelines or regulations further clarifying allowable use of opioid litigation settlement funds, and further, to adopt the last paragraph of said Chapter 5B and dedicate to such fund without further appropriations 100% of the opioid litigation settlement funds received by the town, and further to transfer from available funds a sum of money equal to that received or to be received by the town from opioid litigation settlements resulting from the town's participation in the national opioid multi-district litigation into said opioid settlement stabilization fund. Article 13, funding for Norris Elementary School 7D student transportation van. To see if the town will vote to appropriate the sum of $98,000 to purchase a new school 7D student transportation van for Norris Elementary School to replace the existing student transportation van, to determine whether this appropriation shall be raised by borrowing or otherwise. Article 14, to see if the town will vote to transfer or appropriate the sum of $17,339.70 as additional funding for a new Ford F-350 one-ton truck with plow and drop-in sander for the Highway Department, which was originally approved for funding at the June 2021 annual town meeting, funding to come from the Capital Stabilization Fund. Article 15, funding for Norris Elementary School for replacement of ceiling tiles. To see if the town will vote to transfer or appropriate the sum of $6,500 for the replacement of water-damaged ceiling tiles in the Norris Elementary School, funding to come from the Capital Stabilization Fund. Article 16, CPC funding for fee acquisition, landscape partnership grant, Mountain Waters project. To see if the town will vote to, bear with us, this is a long one. A, appropriate $97,588 for the purpose of acquiring, by purchase, gift, eminent domain, or otherwise for the purposes below the following. In fee, 19 acres of land, more or less, located at Walcott Road, Southampton, being tax map 18, lot 34. In fee, 158 acres of land, more or less, located at Fulmer Road, Southampton, being tax map 9, lot 1B, lots 1B, 1C, 3, 3A, and map 3, lot 1. B, that to meet this appropriation, the sum of $97,580 shall be transferred from the Community Preservation Fund undesignated account, provided, however, that such funds shall not be expended unless the town is approved for a landscape partnership grant as described below from the Massachusetts Division of Conservation Services and/or any other such sources for reimbursement of all or percentage of the project cost. C, that the Select Board is authorized to acquire said property by gift, negotiated purchase, eminent domain, or otherwise, including pursuant to the town's statutory right of first refusal pursuant to Chapter 61, Section 8, for conservation and passive recreation purposes, subject to the protections of Article 97 of the amendments to the Massachusetts Constitution, and that said property shall be under the care, custody, and control of the Conservation Commission pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 40, Section 8C, as it may hereafter be amended, and other Massachusetts statutes relating to conservation. D, that the Select Board and/or the Conservation Commission is authorized to apply for, accept, and expend any funds that may be provided by the Commonwealth or other public or private sources to defray all or a portion of the cost of said acquisition, including but not limited to grants and a reimbursement from the Commonwealth under the Landscape Partnership Grant, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 132A, Section 11, and or any grants or reimbursements programs in any way connected with the scope of this article, which grants or the funds so received shall be used to repay all of a portion of the sums transferred from the Community Preservation Act Fund hereunder, and that the Select Board and or the Conservation Commission is authorized to grant a perpetual conservation restrictions to Kestrel Land Trust or such other nonprofit corporation or trust pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 184, Section 31 through 33, in compliance with Chapter 44B, Section 12A, protecting the properties for the purpose for which they were acquired, and further, to authorize the Select Board and or the Conservation Commission to enter into all agreements and execute any and all instruments as may be necessary or convenient to effectuate the foregoing purposes. Article 17, this might be longer. CPC funding for conservation restrictions, Landscape Partnership Grant, Mountain Waters Project. To see if the town will vote to A, appropriate $323,100 for the purposes of acquiring by purchase, gift, eminent domain, or otherwise for the purposes below the following: a conservation restriction on 25 acres, more or less, located at Former Road, Southampton, being tax map 27, lot 4, co-held with Kestrel Land Trust, a conservation restriction on 236 acres, more or less, located at Former Road, Southampton, being tax map 9, lot 1 and 1D. Co-held with Kestrel Land Trust, a conservation restriction of 135 acres, more or less, located at Edwards Road, Southampton, and 87 Cold Spring Road, Southampton, being tax map 5, lot 3, and map 6, lot 1, respectively. Co-held with Kestrel Land Trust, a conservation restriction on 81 acres, more or less, located at 69 Maple Street, Southampton, being tax map 23, lot 27. Co-held with Kestrel Land Trust, a conservation restriction on 43 acres, more or less, located at 155 Glendale Road, Southampton, being tax map 2, lot 9. Co-held with the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources on 33.8 acres, more or less, located at 156 Glendale Road, Southampton, being tax map 2, lot 8. B, that to meet this appropriation, the sum of $323,100 shall be transferred from the Community Preservation Fund undesignated account, provided, however, that such funds shall not be expended unless the town is approved for a landscape partnership grant as described below from the Massachusetts Division of Conservation Services and or any such sources for reimbursement of all or a percentage of the project cost. C, that the Select Board is authorized to acquire said interest by gift, negotiated purchase, eminent domain, or otherwise, including pursuant to the town's statutory right of first refusal, pursuant to Chapters 61, Section 8, for conservation and passive recreation purposes, subject to the protections of Article 97 of the amendments to the Massachusetts Constitution, and that said interest shall be under the care, custody, and control of the Conservation Commission pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 40, Section 8C, and it may hereafter be amended, and other Massachusetts statutes relating to conservation. D, that the Select Board and or the Conservation Commission is authorized to apply for, accept, and expend any funds that may be provided by the Commonwealth or other public or private sources to defray all or a portion of the cost of said acquisition, including but not limited to grants and or reimbursements from the Commonwealth under the Landscape Partnership Grant, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 132A, Section 11, and or any grants or reimbursement programs in any way connected with the scope of this article, with which grants and or funds so received shall be used to repay all or a portion of the sums transferred from the Community Preservation Act fund hereunder, and further to authorize the Select Board and or the Conservation Commission to enter into all agreements and execute any and all instruments as may be necessary or convenient to effectuate the foregoing purposes. General Bylaws, new. Article 18. General Bylaw, proposed new bylaw, membership on boards, committees, commissions, councils, aka groups. The city of the town will vote to adopt a new general bylaw, article, is that 45? 45, membership on boards, committees, commissions, councils, aka groups, to the town's general bylaws, with the language below, and to authorize the town clerk to make any necessary renumbering changes to comply with E-Code 360 code proposed bylaw, membership on boards, committees, commissions, councils, aka groups. Section 1, it is the intent that all town boards, committees, commissions, councils et al. Have the maximum number of members and alternates if appropriate, and where alternates are authorized by law as specified in the organization charge or bylaw. The maximum number of members shall be an odd number. Section 2, should an existing group which was originally established with an even number of members, and where such number is not set by bylaw, consistently not be able to conduct necessary business due to the votes, the group may petition a select board, or the select board may so decide to increase or decrease the official membership of the group by one. In this case, the vote by the select board would supersede any previous stipulation of the official number of members of the group. Section 3, individuals may request to join a particular appointed group by submitting an application form to the Select Board via the town administrator. New applicants, as well as applicants seeking reappointment, shall submit, in addition to the application form, a resume or cover letter detailing their background and experience. All application forms received by the Select Board Town Administrator will also be forwarded to the chair of the group to which the individual is making application. The form, application to serve on a town board or committee, may be found at Town Hall or on the town's webpage, www.townofsouthampton.org. It is strongly recommended that potential applicants attend at least one meeting of the group before submitting an application. Section 4, the Select Board shall evaluate the qualifications of all new applicants in light of the needs of the group. In considering new applicants and reappointment applicants, members of the group to which the individual applied may provide an endorsement of the applicant to the Select Board. Based on its review, the Select Board may vote to appoint the applicant with or without a recommendation from the group in question. Reappointments will be considered along with new applicants for a position. Section 5, for appointed and elected positions, the town clerk will maintain the list of term expiration dates and resignations. Section 6, for elected committee board positions, should a vacancy exist, the Select Board will appoint a qualified individual to fill the position as per Mass General Law until the next town election. Once the Select Board appoints an individual, the Town Administrator's Office sends a notice to the individual advising them of their appointment. A copy of the certificate of appointment will be forwarded to the Town Clerk's office. Individuals must formally accept the appointment and be sworn in by the Town Clerk prior to voting at any meeting. Article 19, General Bylaw, Proposed New Bylaw, Elected and Appointed Committees, Boards, Commissions, Councils, Ad Hoc Committees, Groups, Operating Procedures. To see if the town will vote to accept a new general bylaw. Article 46, Elected and Appointed Committees, Boards, Committees, Commission, Councils, aka groups, to the town's general bylaws with the language below, and to authorize the town clerk to make any necessary renumbering changes to comply with E-Code 360 code. Proposed bylaw, elected and appointed. Committee, board, commission, councils, ad hoc committees, groups, operating procedures. The regulations in this article pertain, section 1, the regulations in this article pertain to all committees, boards, commissions, councils, aka groups, both elected and appointed, except as otherwise stipulated by law. Section 2, within the first month of the fiscal year for appointed committee, and within the first month after the town election for elected committees, each group shall elect a chair, vice chair, and clerk. The newly elected chair shall immediately communicate the results of these appointments to the town clerk and the town administrator. Positions of chair and vice chair must be served by 2 different individuals. Normally, the responsibilities of the officers of a group are as follows. However, a group may reassign responsibilities as it sees fit, as long as all responsibilities are covered, provided this action does not conflict with state laws and regulations. A, the chair is responsible for managing the group's meeting schedule, documents, and communications, including monitoring the group's common email, recommending updates to the web pages necessary, and maintaining ongoing communications with the Select Board. The chair is responsible for ensuring that meeting schedules are posted on the town website, along with official documents and useful information for further reference. The vice chair shall collect and submit to the town clerk and town administrator up-to-date contact information, address, phone, email for each member. This information should not be shared with the general public without an individual's permission. It is solely for official use. It is the chair's responsibility to notify the town clerk of any changes to membership. The vice chair acts in the absence of the chair. B, the meeting time, agenda, and approved minutes for each meeting must be posted on a town-designated site, mytown.gov, according to a time frame stipulated in the open meeting law. It shall be the duty of the committee clerk to draft the minutes of each meeting for approval by the membership. Meeting minutes must be approved by a quorum and posted on the town website within 3 subsequent meetings at which the minutes were approved. If the committee clerk is unable to post the minutes, the town clerk will ensure that the minutes are posted on a town website within the requisite time frame. D, the group shall make a concerted effort to assist in recruiting qualified applicants to fill appointed and elected vacancies. Section 3, all members of a group are responsible for obeying the open meeting law regulations and adhering to requirements of the State Ethics Commission. The town clerk will advise appointed and elected officials of these requirements and provide a link to State Ethics Commission training testing resource. Each member shall provide documentation to town clerk as proof that they successfully completed the online state ethics training program within 30 days of being elected or appointed. The town clerk shall notify the appropriate chair of any violations in a timely manner. Section 4. All individuals must be sworn in by the town clerk as newly elected or appointed members prior to being eligible to vote at the group's meetings. Section 5. A quorum for conducting business shall be a simple majority of the members of the group as constituted in the charge, unless another percentage is required by law. However, a quorum shall not be less than 2. Motions are passed unless otherwise noted by majority vote, providing a quorum is present. Section 6. Membership should notify the chair of intended absences. If a member of an appointed group is absent for more than half of the group's regularly scheduled meetings over a 6-month period and or does not participate in the group's work for over a 6-month period, said member may be removed from the group by majority vote. Upon removal, the individual may appeal the decision to the Select Board. Section 7. With approval by majority vote, a member may request a leave of absence in writing from a group for no longer than 2 months, provided that the membership would remain at greater than 50% of maximum membership for the group. If the latter is not the case, the leave of absence may not be granted, and the individual must either remain or resign to ensure a quorum. Section 8. It is the responsibility of the chair to acknowledge receipt of resident inquiries by mail, email, or phone within 10 business days of having received the communication. That acknowledgement will inform the resident that response to the inquiry will be provided after the group has had an opportunity to meet and discuss their concern issues. Section 9. For groups whose policies, procedures, and past practices are not included in town bylaw and are not determined by statute, creation of or changes to those procedures must be approved by the Select Board. Section 10. Individuals must disclose to the Select Board and to the group any conflict of interest present at the time of their appointment or that may arise during their tenure or the committee or group. These individuals must also file a conflict of interest disclosure form, General Laws, Chapter 268A and Chapter 23B3 with the town clerk, based on the specific circumstances of the conflict of interest. Further consultation with the State Ethics Commission may be necessary at request advice at massmail.state.ma.us. Any written opinions not issued as confidential received from the State Ethics Commission should also be filed with the town clerk. Section 11. All resignations must be written, signed, and submitted to the town clerk and the chair of the relevant public body in a timely manner. All vacancies should be posted within 30 business days of receipt of the resignation by the committee board. A description of the group's function, purpose, and the requisite time commitment shall be listed in the volunteer section of the town website. Filling vacant positions is a shared responsibility of group members and the Select Board to recruit qualified candidates. Section 12. The Select Board shall appoint all replacements for vacant positions elected or appointed with terms extending until the next town election or the completion of the term of the appointed position, whichever is applicable as per Mass General Law. Section 13. All members of elected or appointed boards, commissions, committees, councils, or groups shall serve without compensation. Section 4, records are maintained according to requirements under Massachusetts Public Records Law. Sections 15, the Select Board may vote to remove some or all members of an appointed group for cause. The Select Board's consideration of such an action may be initiated by the Select Board. Massachusetts General Laws, rescission, acceptance. Massachusetts General Laws rescind Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 42, and accept Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 42A. The see of the town will vote to rescind its prior acceptance of General Laws, Chapter 48, Subchapter 42, 43, 44, or any predecessor versions of said statutes, and adopt the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 48, Subchapter 42A, okay, I'm going to read what's crossed out, so this may take a little bit of time here. Section 42, this is crossed out, this is what was and what not to be. Towns accepting the provisions of this section and sections 43 and 44, which have accepted corresponding provisions of earlier laws, may establish a fire department to be under the control of an officer to be known as the chief of the fire department. The chief shall be appointed by the selectmen and shall receive such salary as the selectmen may from time to time determine, not exceeding in the aggregate the amount annually appointed therefor. He may be removed for cause by the selectmen at any time after hearing. He shall have charge of existing fires in the town and the protection of life and property in case of fire. He shall purchase, subject to the approval of the selectmen, and keep and repair all property and apparatus used for and by the fire department. He shall have and exercise all the powers and discharge all the duties conferred or imposed by statute upon engineers in towns, except as herein provided, and shall appoint a deputy chief and such officers and firemen as he may think necessary, and may remove the same at any time for cause and after hearing. He shall have a full and absolute authority in the administration of the department, shall make all rules and regulations for its operations, shall report to the selectmen from time to time as they may require, and shall annually report to the town the condition of the department with its recommendations therein. He shall fix the compensation of the permanent and call members of the fire department, subject to the approval of the selectmen. In the expenditure of money, the chief shall be subject to such further limitations as the town may from time to time prescribe. The appointment of the chief of the fire department in any town or district having a population of 5,000 or less may be for a period of 3 years. And this is what we're voting to approve. Section 42A. In towns which accept this section or have accepted a corresponding provision of earlier laws, thou shalt be a fire department established under the direction of the selectmen, who shall appoint a chief of the fire department and such other officers and firemen as they deem necessary, and fix their compensation in an amount not in the aggregate exceeding the annual appropriation. Therefore, the selectmen may make suitable regulations governing the fire department and the officers and firemen thereof, and in towns which are not subject to Chapter 31 may remove the chief and other officers and firemen at pleasure. The chief of the fire department shall be in immediate control of all town property used by the department and of the officers and firemen who shall obey his orders. That's it. That's our 20 articles. Again, our special town meeting will be next Tuesday, December 5th at the William E. Norris School, Pomeroy Meadow Road. Come early, check in, take whatever handouts have been approved by the town moderator on the table, and have a good evening. Looking forward. Thank you.